The 49ers in Los Angeles for a key matchup against the Rams. Is it a must win, or is it as easy as saying, well, it's the Rams? They're obviously going to win. Injuries rearing their ugly head again, and another Christian McCaffrey conversation because the pitch count is off on Sunday. New episode, Sprint Red Option Podcast starts now.
Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners. Sprint Ride Option Podcast. We've had that song for a year and a half. It's bangier than ever. We love it. This is a new episode of the Sprint Ride Option Podcast. I am Andrew Pasquini, joined as always by the beautiful Jason Aponte. Jason, how you doing on this lovely Friday where there's no baseball happening at all whatsoever?
I mean, the only podcast that you could tune into that wouldn't even mention baseball because baseball's been over. Yeah, I'm good. Just fighting through this sickness, man. I've been if people have noticed why I've been away from Twitter and stuff, I've been like horribly sick. But I'm doing my best to fight through it. So
well, Jason, I'm happy you're fighting through it. I'm happy you're here right now talking 49ers football with me, talking 49ers football with all of Twitter. And I want to open the conversation with maybe the biggest not talked about topic today on 49ers Twitter. I thought maybe it'd be a bigger deal. Maybe because it happened on Instagram. I think it's a red flag for Christian McCaffrey that us as Niner fans, we kind of have fun talking about the whole Levi Stadium South when they play at SoFi Stadium type thing. And Christian McCaffrey takes it to a whole other level by posting a picture of Cersei looking at the Septa Baylor before that whole, I'm not going to spoil, before that whole thing happened. Is that a red flag that he's just taking this rivalry too seriously?
I mean, you could look at it that way, or you could look at it and say he's ready to, burn it all, and I love it, So I don't know. I mean, there's two ways to look at it. I think this is, the episode is literally labeled "must win in SoFi," and I'd be a little bit more concerned if he was someone who was jumping out the window as opposed to that. Then, So.
I thought you were going to say the episode that the Game of Thrones was must win at SoFi. I'm like, I don't remember it being called that at all. But yeah, no, just scrolling through Christian McCaffrey's photos, seeing cool, like behind the scenes Niner photos. And then boom, Cersei just looking at the Septa Baylor. Interesting times. But yeah, so as we said, 49ers, they are in Los Angeles this weekend with I'm just going to spoil it. The segment at the end of the show, Jason, a must win, dare I say. And it's must win for a few reasons. I think the biggest reason it's a must win, like obviously division, all that fun stuff, the Rams, LA, San Francisco, all that stuff, is it guarantees a tiebreaker over a team that I still think is most likely to be the team up there with I haven't given up on the Niners. I think they still can win the NFC West. I don't care what's happening with them. I'm looking at it as a whole. I think the West is still very much not in hand, but in reach. It's too early to say it's not. But if the Niners win this, they clinch a tiebreaker against a team that I think is going to be sticking with them the whole way. Because as fun as the Seahawks thing is, I don't know if it's going to sustain over the season. But then again, we're at a point where maybe it does. Who knows? But tiebreaker, very important. But yeah, this is a must win for the Niners this early in the season.
Yeah, I mean, and to piggyback off that, not only is it big for the division, conference wins are huge. So you have to win in the NFC. That's why last week it was, let's hope that this is a win. If not, it's not a deal breaker. But any NFC game, including NFC West. And you know what? I'm not really a hot take guy, but the Rams aren't making the playoffs. Seattle is.
Oh, okay.
Seattle is going to make the playoffs. Yeah. No, I believe in what's going on right now. They have done a masterful job in their draft. Geno Smith is playing ball like he's never done. I mean, Tariq Woolen is incredible, man. I think they've got two starting tackles. Kenneth Walker is dominant. For as much as we sat there and talked about it, including myself, and said, well, Seattle is tanking. They're They are far built better right now than the Rams are for sustained success. Put me down for that. The Rams are in far bigger trouble than the Seattle Seahawks are right now.
I like that hot take at the very top. I was a little nervous to even mention it because I know I just kind of talk shit about the Seahawks, but that's just what I'm programmed to do. I'm bought in. I think the conversation that Russell Wilson being a system quarterback it hasn't been loud enough yet because the system might be Pete Carroll's, which is why Geno Smith's doing so well. But yeah, this is huge because the NFC West and the NFC as a whole, just for those of you who don't know, Seahawks in first place right now, 4-3. The Rams in second, 3-3. They have the advantage of the bye week last week. Niners tied for third place with the Arizona Cardinals, 3-4. Niners win this game. Seattle loses. The Niners are in first place at the end of this weekend. That's huge. I think that's huge. But if the Niners lose this game, they're 3-5, a game and a half behind the Rams. I believe the second tiebreaker in terms of division would be point differential. So, I mean, that might come down to it if the Rams blow the Niners out on Sunday, which after we saw that happen with the Chiefs, like that's possible. The Niners could get blown out by people apparently now. That's a scary thought to throw in there. The NFC West is sneaky competitive because the Seahawks have been sneaking around. We thought it was going to be a two-horse race between the Niners and Rams, and Pete Carroll just does not want to go away. But yeah, this is absolutely a huge game for the Niners, and I don't think we need to really say it that much more.
Yeah, and going back to what I was saying about Seattle, it's just the way that they've built their team right now. There's far too many things going against the Rams. Having said all of that, that doesn't mean that the Rams can't win this game. I'm just talking about sustained success. The draft was largely laughed at by Seattle. 2 starting tackles, a starting running back, and a starting corner who leads the league in interceptions. That is a recipe for success. If Geno Smith can continue to play the way that he is, he doesn't even necessarily need to play at this high level. They are going to win ball games. And when they knock off the New York Football Giants, are you going to start paying attention, everybody else? Or is it just going to be, well, the Giants aren't that good? The Giants are good. It's time for you to say that as well. But yeah, I have far more confidence in the Seattle Seahawks than I do the Los Angeles Rams at this point.
And not to make it super negative about the Rams, but it really feels like I've been waiting for the report to come out about Stafford or in some sort of injury. Like he just doesn't seem the same, and that talk's kind of gone away over time. God, you're really yes, the talk's gone away because we've just gotten used to it, but I still think he's hurt. Jason, you're really like talking me into the Niners winning this game on Sunday. I was like on the fence, and now you're just like, nah, Seattle's better. Jason, you've like put a spell on me.
Seattle is better, but I would be lying to you if I wasn't going to get on here and say that I am dangerously nervous about this game. Seattle is better. Yes. Seattle is better, but that is because the Rams have large deficiencies and problems. Yes, their starting center's back. Cool. They have no running backs. Their offense largely depends on Cooper Kupp catching the ball and trying to run through everybody for touchdowns. Matthew Stafford's injured. The defense is still pretty good, but can be had, especially at the linebacker position. This is where we kind of have to talk up the 49ers. But yeah, the Rams have problems. The Rams have big issues. And whether they win this game or not is not going to push me towards, oh, well, the Rams are back. They have huge issues, and they have many things that they hope a bye week solve for them.
Yeah, and that's another thing about this game is the Niners win this game, they roll into their bye week with a little bit of momentum, feeling good with the Chargers, with the Cardinals, with the Saints coming up after that. So as I mentioned last week, like if the Niners can get through this game, they might be able to start rolling a little bit. So this is an important game in a lot of ways for the Niners, just from the standpoint of standings, from the standpoint of momentum, from a lot of standpoints, and it just. Last week, just the last 2 weeks has not helped the feel of going into this game. A usually confident team going into Los Angeles, and maybe they do need to treat it like the SEPTA Baylor. I don't know. Just go in there, blow it up, and take no names. I think you need to throw away what week 4 was. A 24-9. I know that's kind of the traditional Niners thing they do. They go in, they beat the Rams, blow them out, all that. And we'll start with the injuries. That's where we'll start because that's where I'm going to. The big name on the injury report for the Niners, Deebo Samuel, is out with a hamstring injury. And he's the guy that really feels like he's epitomized this Niners domination of the Rams. He has 6 touchdowns in 7 career games against the Rams. That's just regular season as well. That doesn't include the NFC Championship game. I think he averages like 80 yards per game receiving against the Rams. Like he is the guy the Niners lean on against the Rams. He's not there. But then the second step of Kyle Juszczyk, just kind of the motor of the Niners offense, the way they use him. And yeah, there's been talks about his usage the past few weeks and all that stuff, but he's very important in the Niners offense. And then Dre Greenlaw out with a calf injury. Eric Armstead, obviously, we know he's going to be out for a bit with the foot and ankle injury. How important is this? I don't think we could stress it enough, Jason, but how important is this Deebo Samuel injury in terms of this game coming up against the Rams?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's a Rams killer, right?
Yes.
Makes sense, 100%. But I want to make sure I verbalize this correctly because people are just going to take this and run with, Jason said that Deebo doesn't matter. Brandon Ayuk, yes. George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey.
Yes.
Get it done. Get it done. Get it done. You have enough. Have enough. I think we know what the one question on the offense is, or two questions. Offensive line, can they block? And the other thing, I don't want to talk about that. But get it done. Get it done. Can you look at the Rams and say that the Rams' weapons are better than the 49ers? Nope.
No.
At all.
Well, even the Rams' weapon is Cooper Kupp.
Right. It would be cooler if Deebo played in this game. You'd feel a lot better. I'm far more concerned with the defensive people that are going to be missing. Eric Armstead, Dre Greenlaw. That's who I'm really worried about. Look, I'm not trying to tell you that Deebo Samuel doesn't matter because he's a Rams killer. Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey. Get it done. I'm tired of the excuses. You're not going to hang this one on Deebo Samuel not being there. I'm sorry. You're not. If you've got an entire week of Christian McCaffrey and you've got Brandon Ayuk, who's still a very, very good receiver, and if George Kittle is that guy, well, guess what? Time to carry the load. Not everybody's going to be healthy every single week. It's not going to happen like that. I don't want to hear the Deebo Samuel excuse. I don't. Toss it out. The Juice thing is a little bit more concerning because Juice helps identify base defenses, and it shows Garoppolo what's happening. When he goes in motion, if a guy follows, you know it's man. Takes one thing off the board for him. I understand that. And also having him out there and running rail against linebackers, I love that. But do not blame this one on Deebo Samuel if the 49ers don't get this done. Ayuk, Kittle, McCaffrey. Get it done. I'm getting mad now preemptively for the people that will say, well, Deebo wasn't there. Get it done. That's it.
I think it's not even a Niners weapons against the Rams weapons argument. I think there is legitimately 31 other teams that would gladly go into a game with the weapons of.
Can I ask Red real quick? Can I ask you a question real quick, Red Eye? How on earth can a defense double cover a running back?
Yeah.
How? You do that with Kittle? You do that with Ayuk. Christian McCaffrey moves around and will be out of the backfield. You cannot double team someone out of the backfield. If he's in the slot, maybe. That's impossible to do with a running back. You do it to Ayuk, you do it to Kittle. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, Andrew.
Oh, you're good. You're good, Jason. I appreciate the clarification. But yeah, as I was saying, 31 other teams would gladly go into a game with the weapons of George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, and Brandon Ayuk. Like Deebo Samuel, yes, we understand how important he is to this offense. Absolutely. He makes it go burr, dare I say, even though that's been struggling a little bit.
So hold on. Last time, and I don't want to interrupt you. He does not play primarily in the slot. He may go out in the slot 1 or 2 times, 3, 4 times. He's not in the slot all the time. Please watch a different team if you are going to spread misinformation.
I mean, just for the idea, because the comparison's sake, because we do have a direct comparison. The Rams' last game was against the Carolina Panthers. In terms of thanks, Red Eye. Bye. In terms of we know who. Sorry, I got stumbled up. I don't know what he's saying at this point, but yes, the Rams last game.
So I learned something today. Christian McCaffrey is the new slot receiver for the San Francisco 49ers. Yes. Incredible, Andrew Pasquini.
That's the point I was getting to. The Rams saw Christian McCaffrey 2 weeks ago, their last game before the bye. And I'm trying to pull up his snap counts just for funsies, just for the shits and gigs. Against the Rams in week 6, he played 9 snaps out of the slot, 28 in the backfield.
Nine snaps in the slot. And he was on a pitch count. And he was in a pitch count last week. Andrew.
No, that was against the Rams with Carolina.
So that was on a full. Okay.
That was on a full. Okay. That was a full game.
So yeah, I mean, look, this is not an attack against the smart people that watch our show. He's not smart. That's why he's not here.
Yes. So anyways, back to the point. No, Deebo Samuel, it shouldn't in theory hurt the Niners because of the replacement of Christian McCaffrey. He, dare I say it, he will play some snaps out wide, Jason. Not all of them. Doesn't make him a slot receiver.
No, he's a new slot receiver. No.
New
It's
slot receiver,
done.
yes.
He's a new slot.
Oh,
He's
it's
a new
done.
slot
Okay, new
receiver.
slot receiver. So slot receiver, Christian McCaffrey. But yeah, no, you could kind of get a little bit of what Debo is with McCaffrey. Obviously, I don't think they're going to use him as heavy as a receiver. But Brandon Ayuk, in terms of what he can offer as a receiver, I think he easily makes up for what Debo is going to be missing. So you have both the parts of what Debo Samuel is in Christian McCaffrey and in Brandon Ayuk. On paper, yes, it's absolutely going to hurt. And there will be moments where I say, hey, Debo might make that play. But as a whole, there really isn't going to be an excuse for this offense because of how many weapons they have. And you mentioned it. McCaffrey, Kittle, Ayuk. We could even go as far as Juwan Jennings on third downs. That's where he lives. That's where he makes his money. I know he not as great on other downs, but third downs, he is a viable weapon for this 49ers offense. The weapon argument is not going to work with this offense anymore, whether you're missing any of them. If you're missing McCaffrey, you still have enough weapons to make it. If you're missing Ayuk, you still have got the weapons aren't going to be the argument. Something's wrong with this offense, obviously, and whether you want to be on the camp of it being Garoppolo, whether you want to be in the camp of it being Shanahan, one or the other, whatever it may be, there's something wrong with this offense. The weapons, not the issue.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to say is the 49ers not finishing this game won't have anything to do with Debo Samuel. It will have to do with the larger deficiencies, because if you had a football team that you never had Debo Samuel on, right, and that football team had Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, and Christian McCaffrey and Trent Williams, blocking, you'd say, okay, they've got some pretty good weapons over there.
Yes.
But now the sky's falling because Debo's not playing, and I understand Debo's history against the Rams. I get that. But again, that's not an excuse, and I'm not buying that excuse, and I will not take that excuse if the 49ers do not finish this game.
No, absolutely not. It's not an excuse. And if we do lose, if the Niners do lose come Sunday, we're not going to talk about the lack of weapons. I mean, really, I think if it comes down to, I think the only way the Niners lose this game possibly is if the defense repeats the performances over the last 2 weeks. Because I think this Rams offense is very, very stoppable. Like I think they proved it 4 weeks ago when these two teams last play, held them to 9 points. Atlanta's pretty bad, so I guess I can't say Atlanta's offense is better than the Rams, but I mean, the Rams offense looked like it handled the Niners defense better than the Rams did, right? So I think if the Niners shouldn't struggle on offense, and if they do, the conversations are going to get louder and louder and louder, I think.
Yeah, and right now, the Rams have a lot of issues, right? Like I said, they're getting their starting center back. They have zero run game. None. That is almost something that you can wipe off the board now at this point. Now that Cam Akers is out, Darrell Henderson is actually banged up. They're literally going to be trying. I mean, Kyron Williams isn't even activated off the IR. So they're very one-dimensional. And I see a lot of people, obviously, hey, stop Cooper Kupp. Well, guys, you don't stop Cooper Kupp, okay? What you do is you limit those 10 catches to 100 yards and keep him in a 10-yard space where you don't allow him to get catches after the catch. That's the way you stop him. Van Jefferson returning is going to at least provide the semblance of a deep threat for Matthew Stafford, but Matthew Stafford's injured. I don't get it right now at this point. Like, the Rams offense is probably in a worse spot because of the weapons, and their quarterback is injured, and you expect more from the quarterback. Right? Because at least as 49er fans, we can say, well, Jimmy's Jimmy. That's him, right? Like, that's it. Like, we have set our watch to Jimmy. I don't expect more. I don't expect less. I expect Jimmy. But you expect a little bit more from Matthew Stafford, right? Super Bowl winning champ, Super Bowl champ, right? Like, all that stuff. He's hurt. They have no running game. Offensive line is decimated. Weapons are lacking everywhere. This Rams offense isn't necessarily what people thought it would be, even with Allen Robinson. So, yeah, I mean, at this point, it's going to boil down to, stop me if you've heard this before, the 49ers offense, because I think the defense is going to be fine this week. They'll be fine.
And to the point that people say, hey, just stop Cooper Kupp, the Niners have proven multiple times they don't need to stop Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp against the Niners in week 4, 14 receptions, 122 yards. Now, they did prevent him getting into the end zone, so I guess in that sense they stopped him.
So, and that's what so that stat line's perfect, Andrew, for this reason. 14, 122. It means that he wasn't catching passes and breaking them off for long runs. He's catching the pass 7 yards, getting tackled. Catching the pass, getting down 8 yards, right? And that's the only way to really slow him down. The report's too good. There are no slot cornerbacks in this league that can stop Cooper Kupp. None.
Mm-hmm.
None.
Yeah.
That's the reason Cooper Kupp has 3 million catches a year for 3 million yards a year. Yeah. No one stops Cooper Kupp. I don't know why 49er fans are fixated on this whole idea of stopping Cooper Kupp. If someone could, they would. They won't. And that's the only thing, is you just have to limit what he does. If you can tackle him when he catches the ball, that's it. Kupp's going to get his. Stop everyone else, though. No one else can get off. Let Tyler Higbee catch his little 2-yard catches and move up to for 5 yards and get tackled. Cool. I'm fine with that. You cannot allow anybody else in this game to get off. Cooper Kupp's going to get his. That's fine. It's just a matter of fact.
Yeah, and if you go back to last season with the Niners 2 wins against the Rams, Cooper Kupp 11 for 122. The Niners win 31-10. You go to the Week 18 matchup, Cooper Kupp 7 for 118 and a touchdown. They win in overtime. But then the big difference that I kind of zeroed in on in the conference championship game is they let Cooper Kupp, where's his numbers, 11 for 142 and 2 touchdowns. But Odell Beckham also tacked on 9 for 113. And that's where, in my mind, the issue came in, is they allowed a second guy to beat them. If you just say, hey, Cooper Kupp's going to get his, it's okay. Don't let anybody else beat you. The Niners defense, A-okay. It'll just come down to what the Niners offense can do.
And I do think there's a difference between getting his and letting Cooper Kupp go crazy. Like there's completely different things. Getting his is that stat line you just talked about. 14 for 122. That's getting his. Him going crazy is 11 for 178 and 2 touchdowns. That is getting crazy. Like, that is what you can't allow, right?
Which NFC Championship game, 11, 142, 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns. There you go. Hey, look at us, man. Donation from Ron. Appreciate you, man. If CMC is fully involved, Cooper Kupp won't matter. 100% agree. This is why you traded for him, and this is why you're going to lean on him. It's funny to me that Christian McCaffrey, and I'm trying to find the right meme to put on Twitter. It's funny that Christian McCaffrey was probably sold, hey, we're not going to run you 20 times. We're not going to have you touch the ball 20, 25 times. Fooled you. Here we go. Full 20, 25 touch game right away.
and that's probably what it's going to be. I'm very interested because the pitch count is off for CMC. We're going to see what he actually is. We saw a little bit of it last week in his limited snaps. He only got 4 snaps in the second half. That's going to be gone. And if you guys want something positive off of it, and I got to pull it up really quick. As I mentioned earlier, the Rams' last game, because they had a bye last week, was against the Panthers. Christian McCaffrey, just your casual 13 carry, 69 yards, 7 receptions, 89-yard game. It's perfect. It's fantastic.
I think why you don't understand this conversation is because we're talking about the 49ers defense and what they need to do to slow down the Rams. That's why you don't understand. You know, you're talking about problem, line of scrimmage. We're talking about the other side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about the offensive side of the ball now and the offensive line.
We're off to a blazing start here, 23 minutes in, man. Good God.
We could talk. I think so. I pulled up a stat in my most recent article, 5 players to watch on 49ers offense against the Rams. I don't know if you know this. We write for Niners Nation, Jason. Mike McGlinchey, a stat trend that means nothing, but I just thought it was fun and interesting. Week 1, 2 pressures allowed. Week 2, 0 pressures allowed. Week 3, 3 pressures allowed. Week 4, 0 pressures allowed. Week 5, 3 pressures allowed. Week 6, 0 pressures allowed. Week 7, 4 pressures allowed. So if that trend continues on pace, he's going to have 0 pressures. McGlinchey's going to be very good this game. And on top of that, he allowed 0 pressures against the Rams and 28 pass snaps last time. So bank on it.
And Andrew, I think that stat is the perfect way to say that stats can mean whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly.
To mean
I feel Rich Madrid yelling, "Watch the tape" at me, but hey, I made stats.
If you look up stats and if you put together any sort of stats, you would come up with any conclusion that you want to draw people to. That's it. Like that's what's so funny about stats without the context of actual gameplay and things like that. But I think it's really funny because so many people. I read the comments. So many people are like, "Oh my God, he's the worst," and it's almost like you didn't get the eye wink of like, you know, we're obviously
it's not even that it's 5 players on the Niners offense that are going to be really good this week, and it's 5 players to watch. Like, this is something that'll be interesting. Just keep your eye on it, see what happens. It's just a player to watch. Yeah, it's and also too, like, does the Rams pass rush scare you?
I don't want to poke that bear because Aaron Donald is still there,
Aaron
but the
Donald
loss of Von Miller,
exists.
yeah, Von Miller it's evident, right? Like that's and really when you look back at that last game, um, the only time that Jerry was really assaulted was when Burford, I believe, and McGlinchey just like didn't communicate properly, and he had a free run. He almost slowed down because he was getting ready to get hit, and then he slowed down, and then it was like, oh shit! Like I'm the first time in my life I'm uncovered and almost killed him. So yeah, it's Aaron Donald exists, man. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, yeah, pass rush it, So.
That play actually was what started the fun Burford Brunskill platoon at the right guard. That was the play that got Brunskill in. But just to give you an idea of how dominant Aaron Donald is, Aaron Donald has 24 pressures by himself this season. The rest of the Rams have carry the 132 combined. He has 24 of their 56 pressures. So yeah, like, Aaron Donald obviously exists. I'm not going to poo-poo him away. He is a guy like we talked about him quite a bit last week, Chris Jones, right? He can be one of those guys, but outside of Aaron Donald, who's going to beat you on this defensive line? Von Miller's not there anymore. So that's my takeaway of it is it's almost like the offense, right? You contain Cooper Kupp, don't let anybody beat you, you'll be fine. And contain is letting him get his 12 for 120 as long as he doesn't have any game-breaking plays. You're good. Aaron Donald, let him get his, just don't let anybody else beat you. And you should be fine. But Aaron Donald's a little different because he does have that real game-breaking ability of him. He can force a fumble. We've seen, I don't know if you guys know this, Jimmy Garoppolo does have a turnover problem, so we'll see what happens. But Aaron Donald can break a game.
You don't say, really? Okay.
I don't know if you guys heard that. No.
Stop being so negative, Andrew.
It's not my bad. I'm supposed to be the positive guy as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was my thing with McGlinchey, the fun little statistical anomaly, and the Rams not necessarily being the best at getting to the quarterback, creating pressures, which hopefully means Jimmy Garoppolo gets some clean pockets, and I guess Christian McCaffrey does make it a little easier, but the Deebo Samuel safety valve isn't going to be there, right? So that's something. McCaffrey's going to make it easier. So ideally, he gets more time. And is this going to be a big Brandon Ayuk game? I hope so, because I'm waiting for it. I know he had the 2 touchdown game against the Falcons. I'm waiting for one of like I guess a Cooper Kupp-esque game from him, where it's like 142 touchdown type game. Maybe this is it.
Well, Jalen Ramsey is going to follow him. So I think this is going to be a very good measuring stick right here for where Ayuk is right now in his development. Everybody looks at that one route that he won on the whip route, but I am really locked in on this Ramsey Ayuk matchup because I really want to see how he does constant with Ramsey all over him. So I think that's going to be something that's very fun to watch. It's hard for all right, I see the Rams fan in here. It's hard for me as a Rams fan. Now, I just want to ask you an honest question. I'm not even trying to be snippy here. I'm not, okay? Christian McCaffrey walked into your building 2 weeks ago and put up 158 total yards, and you knew that he was the entire offense, literally the only person on that offense. And I love DJ Moore that you're supposed to be worried about. And PJ Walker started, but you couldn't stop him. Now, this week, Debo's gone, so we'll just scratch him off, and now we're just going to wipe out McCaffrey. You couldn't do it when he was the number 1 guy with a much worse offense, but now you're going to do it. I don't understand the thought process here. If you can help me out in the comments, I'd love to hear the rationale, but that doesn't make any sense when you really think about it. And I understand you're a Rams fan. Root for your team. I got you.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that rationale, that logic, it don't live here because it don't make any sense.
Yeah, and Ramelia Sports Report, first time you've seen your name. You're new. If you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. But
no. Where's Marketing Pro and where's Jim Everett, bro?
I'm just plugging the podcast. I'm plugging for the podcast for everybody right now. Just Ramelia Sports Report. Haven't seen his name yet. If you don't have a chance to get us on YouTube, you can also find us anywhere you get your podcast, the Eastern Red Option Podcast, Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever it may be. You can find us. So there you go. There's the plug, Jason. We always get the plug in.
All right, look. We're 49ers fans. He's a Rams fan.
He's a Rams
I get
fan.
it.
Yes.
We have outlined the ways that we're worried about this game. We have. It's not like we're pounding our chest and we're like, oh my God, the 49ers are about to roll on it. But I need you to explain to me how you plan to wipe out a guy that you couldn't wipe out when he was in a far worse offense and was the only threat on the offense and diced you up for 158 total yards. That's what I need. I just need clarification on that. That's all.
What if Christian McCaffrey goes like 100 just for funsies? We got a Vikings podcast in here as well. Hey, that's okay, man. We appreciate you, Purple Pocket Podcast.
Okay, all right. So let me retort real quick, Ramelia. Possible the Panthers have a better O-line than the Niners at this point, except Williams.
Fair.
Tell me you didn't watch the game without watching the game. They threw the ball out to him in screens, and they were just running with a bunch of blockers in the front. I need you to watch more tape. I need you to watch more football. And at the same time, even if the offensive line is better, your defense is keyed on Christian McCaffrey. Yeah. Where's 22? Where's 22? Where's 22? Yeah. But yet, you're going to say it's the Panthers' offensive line for the reason that you couldn't stop him? Stop him? I need you to watch more tape. I need you to watch more film. And lay off the booze during the game. Just a little bit.
I know Rich is still here yelling at us. Let him in. We need him to say, watch the tape, because that'd be fun.
I can't believe that. And now it's the Panthers' offensive line was the reason that you allowed Christian McCaffrey to catch all those screen passes in the flat and take and cut and dice through your defense. Incredible, man. I went back and watched it, and I watched the guy.
Give me a second.
No, you're good. I watched the guy who was catching passes in the flat, literally the Debo special, just get him the ball in space and run right through you. But yet it was the Panthers' offensive line. I have a hard time with that one. Again, if you'd love to show me evidence, I'd love to see it. But I remember watching that game 2 times. I didn't see that. Didn't see that. All right.
There's great points. I still can't hear you. My headphones died.
It's all right. It's all right. I think we should stop. We should stop with the comments for now. We should get back to the show and everything. But
I'll turn off my camera for 2 seconds. I'm gonna fix this in 2 seconds. Watch.
All right. And yeah, it's a little bit baffling when you hear like, oh well, Debo being out will wipe away McCaffrey. I don't know if that's real, like if that's possible at this point. And I don't think offensive line has anything to do with it at this point. Show me evidence the Niners can run this year. Literally, Jeff Wilson is 11th in the league in rushing yards at this point, and your team averages 2.6 yards per carry. The 49ers average over 4. That is the evidence the 49ers can run. I would love for you to ask real questions and actually get into this discussion and learn a little bit more. I mean, if I'm teaching you right now, that's cool. Like, I'm good with that. But they literally run the ball better than you do. Show me evidence that the Rams can run the ball. That's the better question, because you can't. Cam Akers wants out. Darrell Henderson's not that good. I don't want this to turn into a roast session, but you're not giving me much. Andrew. All right, hold on. All right. I don't want this to turn into a roast session, but you're not giving me much to work with here. Do you watch your team? 2.6 yards per carry. You don't run the ball at all. The 49ers have a rushing attack that is even better than the vaunted Miami Dolphins rushing attack with Mike McDaniel. Oh, you think I forgot about that too? Are you serious, bro? Like, I'm not even upset. I'm just disappointed. Okay, here's the real question. Okay, let me get my real question. Has Kyle been incompetent as a Niner head coach in 6 years? No. Absolutely not. How is he incompetent? The team went from 2017. They've made a Super Bowl. They've made an NFC championship, literally owned your coach. Your coach only won 1 game, which was the biggest one. I will give you that. I will concede that. But now you've completely shifted the conversation away from whatever it is that you think whatever point you're making. I have chopped down literally all 4 of your points right now, all of them, without breaking a sweat. I implore you that if you're doing this YouTube thing, here's the best advice that I could give you, Ramelia Sports. People are going to listen to you for 2 reasons. 3 reasons. 1, your passion. 2, your knowledge. 3, your consistency. I need you to get your knowledge up because you cover the Rams. I don't. Why do I know and you not know? I don't understand. This is a bigger thing. And this whole podcast has turned into this all of a sudden now. We are completely off the rails. 35 minutes in. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for when we go live. Don't know what happened. But yeah. Goodness. All right. Look, Ramelia, I'm done, bro. I'm going to let the comments cook you, man, because I'm tired of like embarrassing you in a public forum right now. I mean, first it was, we're slowing down CMC. Well, 158 yards, cooked you when he was the only person. Oh, well, you can't run the ball, literally run the ball 2 yards better than you. Like, come on, let's figure it out. You're going through it yourself, but don't come at me. I'm not the one to play with, because I can admit certain things, but right now, you're just embarrassing yourself in a public forum. And I hope that it doesn't make sense. Guys, in the comments, you take care of it. Everything that I said has literally made sense. There's not a thing that I have said to you that does not come across as making sense. Every single thing that I've said to you is rooted in fact, in reality, and in truth. That's it. I'm not sure where you're going with this, but it's okay. Comment section got you. That's exactly what's going to happen. I mean, I don't understand where we are right now with this conversation. We're completely off the rails. Andrew, please come back.
This is all bad. My headphones are working now, but my camera's not. This is just, it's almost like this is my first.
Let's just finish it, man, and get through it. And now he's out. Goodness gracious, man. Oh, my God. This is awful. All right, 35 minutes in. I thought I was having a bad week because I've been sick this entire time. And here we are now arguing. And now I'm not making sense when I'm giving out real information. And, Andrew's done now. Andrew's on the injury report now. He's listed as doubtful for Sunday, man. Camera's on IR. You guys make all the jokes you want at this point. So, look, at the end of the day, let's just get back to the game. The 49ers have to do something that they have established that they can do, but just not this season. And they've done it against the Rams, but they haven't done it consistently. What they need to do is they control the clock, play their game, the Rams are going to be one-dimensional, right? They have zero running game, right? So they are going to have to throw the ball the entire time. You have to limit Cooper Kupp. You have to be able to get pressure on Matthew Stafford, and you cannot allow the after-the-catch stuff with either him. And if Van Jefferson is able to catch something down the field in his first game, I mean, if you're banking on Van Jefferson off the bat, who hasn't played in such a long time, to just immediately come in and step in and be this contributor, I would say that's doubtful. But yeah, I mean, that is a concern because he can at least provide the threat down the field, and that's it. All right, Zach, let's do this. Jay, tell us how you can be positive about the offense with Jimbo and Kyle running things. Zach, I don't know why I picked this question to answer because I don't even know if I have the right answer. Zach, I'll be honest with you, man. This offense is missing explosive plays, right? So they're missing explosive plays, but explosive plays with the offense under Jimmy Garoppolo don't come vertically. So how do you get this game going? And I thought that is what it would have been with Christian McCaffrey, right? To be the guy who can catch those passes, get in space, much like he did 2 weeks ago against the Rams. But now what they're going to be relying on him for is to run the ball a lot more. Like, he's going to have to run the ball in between the tackles, everything. Like, he's going to get like the normal Christian McCaffrey workload. I didn't want to say the other one because y'all just going to cut it up and say, "Ayo, pause," whatever. I don't really have a good answer or how confident I am. What I do need is the 49ers to at least put up 24, 27 points. I believe if they get to that 27-point threshold, I think they're in a good shot. They're in a good spot just because the Rams offense isn't exactly blowing the doors off people. And they have issues with their offensive line. Sure, they are getting their center back, which I brought up earlier, but their problems weren't necessarily at center just by itself. Losing Noteboom isn't good. In the running game, the Rams are one-dimensional. Like, that is really where these things have to happen. So, yeah, and I do think that this is the more valid concern. What are we going to do at linebacker? I do think that it's going to be this. It's going to be a lot less of base defense. You'll probably see Fred and DFF, but you're going to see a lot more nickel just because the Rams are going to be throwing the ball a ton. So, yes, you're going to have to constantly ID where Cooper Kupp is. Sometimes he's not primarily slot. Well, he's primarily slot, but he's not like married to the slot like 100%. He's always there, but he's not always there. He's just there a lot. So they're going to have to keep 2 linebackers on the field. Usually they start with 3, Greenlaw and Azeez, right? Especially against certain personnel. But right here, they're going to have to be in nickel. And they're going to have to protect against the pass. So I don't want to say that I am upset that Dre Greenlaw is not going to be playing because he is a step up, clearly, from Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles. But they're going to have to offset that with with the way that they come out in nickel and the way that they cover the pass as well too. So I thought I saw a super chat. Okay. Rigger, thank you for the donation, man. What do you think the keys to victory are? Don't turn the ball over, pressure the quarterback, score points. And that sounds stupid, right? And that sounds like very easy to just say. But if you stay on schedule on offense, and I talked about this on 95.7 The Game, staying on schedule on offense. And what does that mean, right? So Kyle wants to do 8, 9, 10 play drives, but you can't run those drives and be successful if you aren't on schedule, meaning one sack and you're down to 2nd and 20, one penalty, you're at 1st and 20, one missed block and you've got like a 3rd and 17. Now you're off schedule. So in many ways, for this offense to operate, especially under Jimmy Garoppolo, it has to be perfect play to play during those drives. Literally, you've watched in Atlanta, back-to-back drives, the 49ers go right down the field and score because they were perfect on those drives. But when they're penalizing themselves, missing blocks, dropping passes, things like that, putting them behind schedule, that's the stuff that is going to put the 49ers in a bad spot. So it really boils down to not turning the ball over, executing, and just playing your game. And that sounds stupid and it sounds simple, right? That sounds like something that anybody could come up with. But when you look at the team across from you, I wouldn't have said that against the Chiefs. With the Chiefs, it would have been, you've got to score almost every time down the field and not field goals, and you've got to be able to limit the big plays. None of that stuff happened. But with the Rams, they're not nearly as explosive as they were, tapered to be or touted to be, and looking like, this juggernaut when they added Allen Robinson, and you're like, oh, wow, like that's a great receiver. I'm a big Allen Robinson guy, but it just hasn't worked out. But as of right now, it's really about limiting their big plays through Cooper Kupp and just playing your game. And you cannot allow pressures, and you cannot allow Matthew Stafford to move around and find guys, because it's very hard for guys down the field to cover. I hope that answered the question. I feel like I just said a whole bunch of nothing at that time. So, Andrew, are you back, man? I'm tired of this.
I am. My headphones decided to die and everything broke. And I'm sorry, Jason. I hope you carried the show. I'm very confident in your ability to do so. It was probably the best 10 minutes in Sprint Right Option podcast history, to be 1,000% honest. But yeah, I agree with everything Jason just said, point blank. He was right about Christian McCaffrey being the best offensive player on the offense. He was right about the Rams being super overrated. He was right about it being Levi Stadium South. Like, the Niners just dominate the Rams. Did I get it?
Yeah, but I think you just left real quick again. Oh no, you're back.
Okay,
yeah,
hello.
totally.
Yes.
It was whose house
Perfect.
and and all this stuff. Okay. And yeah, like I just yelled a bunch of stuff about that.
I apologize. I don't know what happened. My computer just all broke at one time.
It sounded like everybody's saying it sounded like you were in a fight, like someone broke into your
house. Oh yeah, so I thought. Well, so you know how like pressing the mute button on these mics are kind of tough. I thought I pressed it, and I was going through my stuff to find another headphone, and that F-bomb you heard me drop may or may not have been me. No evidence the camera was off. Was me realizing that the mic was not muted, and I went to mute it. So professionals over here on the Sprint Right After podcast. But yes, no, I agree with everything. It was amazing. Practice squad K. Yeah, I'm actually going to reset up the whole computer setup this weekend, and hopefully we're just going to prevent that. So we love it. Okay. I'm flustered.
Fancy football question. Let's go.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Long Island girl. Jason says, Jason, I have a question. I have 2 RB spots in a flex. Who should I put in? Cook, Jacobs, Walker, and Pierce. They're all doing good. My goodness. I think you run Dalvin, Josh, and Kenneth Walker. They're playing too well at this point. Dameon Pierce is a luxury at this point, but a lot of people would tell you, well, just trade Pierce. I wouldn't do that. I'd rather have him sit on my bench just in case one of these guys goes off. But you cannot bench Josh Jacobs. He's been incredible. You cannot bench Kenneth Walker. He's been incredible. And Dalvin is Dalvin. You didn't draft him in the 1st or 2nd round or wherever you did to bench him at this point. So,
hey, speaking of Cooks, I got a fantasy football trade offer that I forgot that I don't have it anymore. I got offered Brandon Cooks. I have Brandon Cooks for Drake London. I probably should have taken that, huh?
You were gonna give away
Brandon Cooks
for Drake London?
For Drake London, I got offered it.
Oh, wait a minute. So you would give up Drake London and you would get Brandon Cooks?
No, I would give up Brandon Cooks and get Drake London.
No, hell no.
Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Okay, good. Good thing I forgot.
No. Dude, they threw the ball like 13 times in a blowout against.
Oh, that's true, huh? They don't throw the ball out. You're right.
They don't throw the ball. No.
Good thing
at this point.
Good thing I forgot that I got that trade offer and just never responded to it.
at this point, Kyle Pitts is probably droppable. They don't even throw. They were getting blown out by like 20 points, and they were just like, nah, keep running the ball. Hell no. Hell no.
Did we talk about the Jeff Wilson trade thing?
We can.
Just real quick. I don't have much thoughts about it.
The way that I read it was people are calling.
Yeah.
Shopping and calling are not the same thing.
Jason was going to say what I would do. Everybody's talking about how the Niners might trade. If a team called, it is their obligation to listen. Bare minimum. They'll listen. Yeah. It doesn't mean he's going to get traded by the first. And also, too, people talking about, I mean, Daniel Garcia, are we talking about fantasy football trade, or we kind of changed?
No. I think he's talking about the Jeff Wilson thing. And
it depends what they get.
I wouldn't. Here's why. What do you realistically expect to get for an undrafted free agent running back, right? 2, Jeff Wilson is going to step into the fullback role, and you saw this against the Rams last year, actually, too, because Juice, right? Like, they bring him across the formation to help block. If someone wants to give a second-round pick for Jeff Wilson, you don't even let them finish the conversation, and you send his ass on. I don't want to hear anything about it.
You say no takebacks, and you do it.
Yeah, that's it, and it's done. But if you're going to get a 6th-round pick, 6th-round picks end up being Brock Purdy, bro. Yeah. I'm good. Like, that doesn't really make sense at this point. Like, if they're going to trade player for player, that's something different.
That's something, yes. And my thing is if they end up trading him, we're going to find out just how deep Kyle Shanahan's doghouse can get. Because he had the fumble against the Falcons. They trade for Christian McCaffrey the very next week. Conditional third works too. Yeah, I mean, I think if you're in day 2 of the draft, which I think is what, second 2, 3, 4 now, maybe 2, 3.
Yeah, a fourth that could turn into a third. Absolutely. I mean, the 49ers are literally sitting on conditional thirds this whole draft now that they've moved all these picks for McCaffrey. If you can get a 3rd-round pick for an undrafted running back, that's just good business. It's just good business.
Yes.
But considering how quickly guys get injured here, I understand. For me, even this report coming out makes it feel much more comfortable that I think Elijah Mitchell's coming back. Unfortunately, he has had problems being on the field. So, but at the same time, I'm not in a rush to move him for like a 6th-round pick. Like, I'm in no rush to move Jeff Wilson for a 6th-round pick.
And the Niners are in a weird place with running back because it felt like they were very deep. It's obvious that Jeff Wilson's not the guy anymore because it is Christian McCaffrey. They get Christian McCaffrey. So now your backup running back's Jeff Wilson. When Elijah Mitchell comes back, it's Elijah Mitchell's the backup, Jeff Wilson 3. And I still don't think you can move on from Jeff Wilson because it's kind of obvious that Shanahan doesn't really like TDP, and he definitely doesn't like Jordan Mason because Mason hasn't gotten opportunities since he does. He likes him as a special teamer. The special teamers, yes. So in terms of, I don't see the rush to trade for Wilson, but as I said, man, the report was they got an offer, they're listening. Every good team listens. Call. Every good team takes calls.
Look, I'm a general manager.
Yeah,
I'll call the Vikings and say, "Hey, what do you want for Justin Jefferson?" And they hang up on me. That's a call.
Yeah, that's a
call. It doesn't mean, but the part that kind of has people a little bit spooked is they're calling and the 49ers are listening. Now, if someone wants to overpay for Jeff Wilson, I think you absolutely have to take that. But shopping and calling and listening, those words aren't the same thing. They don't mean the same thing.
No, exactly. So I wouldn't see anything happening yet, but who knows? Things change. The trade deadline is November 1st, which is Tuesday. So, I mean, I guess if the Niners do anything big before then, we'll be back live on the Sprint Right Option podcast. Jason, this episode got a little scuffed, and I apologize. I'll work better to be better.
Well, I also have blame in this as well, too. Speaking to people in the comments, we've got to stay on track here. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to watch the tape, and we feel like we did a lot of good things. And, I got Pasquini. I believe in him a lot. I don't think there's any magical answer when it comes to what the Sprint Right Option podcast can do to get better. But, we believe in both of them, and they're just going to get it done. So, we're going to go out there and we're going to put together a good game plan, and we'll get better for Monday's show. So, yeah.
Jason, Kyle, what's your prediction for Niners Rams on Sunday?
Hold on, let's get to this real quick. I see Ramillia guy shows up to so many Niners shows. Dude cares more about us than his own team. Great show. No need to entertain him. Gonna appreciate the donation. That's my fault sometimes, man. I just gotta chill out. So
hey man, we had Andrew left. We had to address some comments. It was good. We're good.
Uh-oh.
What's up?
Hey now.
What's up, What's up, cat with the USSR flag?
Comrade Whiskers, man. All right now. So I guess we should get to the prediction.
Yeah, let's just get this show is
this is literally all right. This show is literally the equivalent of the Chiefs tape. You watch the Chiefs tape one time and you look at it and you take it and you flush it. You absolutely throw it out and you make sure nobody ever watches it ever again. That's exactly what this episode is.
No, this episode may not even go on the podcast stream. That's how sideways it's gone. It might just disappear.
It's got everything. It's got me getting a little testy. It's got you getting beat up in the background. It's got me having just a long 10-minute monologue. It's got a Kyle impression. It's got everything.
Is this what an NFT is? It's only on the internet? Like, it's not going to be anywhere else at this point. Like, this tape.
This might be literally the one show that you guys were able to watch live that doesn't stay up on the channel, that literally goes off and does it. So if you remember this one, remember it.
Yeah,
just remember
the OG episode where Andrew got in a fight.
Andrew got jumped in his own house.
Andrew got jumped in his own apartment, man. It's brutal. It's all bad. This episode went sideways. Hey, Jason, let's go more sideways. Niners 150, Rams 17.
I love it. That's like an old sketch, and I'm gonna date myself from Saturday Night Live, where all the Chicago fans, they sit around and they're talking about the Bears and the Bulls, and they'll give their prediction, and the Bulls will play the Knicks, and they'll say Bulls 874, Knicks 37. The Bulls, yeah. So that's a good one. I like that.
There we go.
No, my prediction is going to be a little bit more grounded, I would say. I don't disagree with the sentiment, but I've got the 49ers winning this one 27-17. The Rams are probably going to score their points. You know, they'll do it. It's funny how the Rams offense has kind of turned into a little bit more of the 49ers offense. Death by 1,000 paper cuts with Cooper Kupp. They'll find ways to get in the end zone. I don't discount this offense largely that far, but the offense is going to do enough in this game to win. Go.
Death by 1,000. I've never heard that. I like that. Death
by 1,000 paper cuts.
I love that.
Like literally 4 yards, 5 yards, Cooper Kupp, cool. 4 yards, 5 yards, Cooper Kupp, cool. Like, you're gonna move the chains that way, and there's gonna be times where there's not gonna be somebody that can stop him. And again, I fully expect Cooper Kupp. expect Cooper Kupp to get it.
Rams trying to kill us with paper cuts while Christian McCaffrey's out here blowing up the SEPTA Baylor. We love it. My realistic prediction, I don't know, 33-13. Niners usually pretty one-sided against the Rams. It is what it is. Like, it's nothing against the Rams. It's just life. Life.
Oh, that's everything against the Rams. Don't be so nice.
It's death taxes, and the Niners beat the Rams asterisk in the regular season.
Because
we have to throw that asterisk in there. I saw Paul shouting out Wolves. I'm not even waking up for Wolves at this point. They're so bad, man. I would rather sleep until 9 in the morning.
We might as well keep this a fun episode. We got 8 more minutes. Are you and anyone else in the California area waking up at 6:30 in the morning on Sunday for Jaguars Broncos?
No.
God, no.
I don't wake up for the London games. It's
9:30 on my side, and I'll say no.
Listen, man, my weekends, as I said, I'm a big, I like Premier League. I wake up 7 in the morning on my Saturdays to watch my favorite soccer team, the Wolverhampton Wanderers, consistently lose 2-0 because they don't know how to score goals. Let me tell you how bad it is, Jason. There's this guy who plays for Manchester City. His name is Erling Haaland. He's considered one of the best players in the world. There was a bet you could make at the start of the season at UK Sportsbooks who finishes with more goals, Erling Haaland or the Wolverhampton Wanderers as a whole. I don't know what the numbers are exactly, but it's something like 17-4 right now. Erling Haaland to the Wolverhampton.
I love these answers.
I'm not. Russell Wilson does nothing for me. I'm not waking up. I'm not doing stretches on an airplane for 4 hours. For God, he gave that information voluntarily.
Speaking of that, the one kicker in the world that matters continues to give us gifts. So I believe it's Marlon Humphrey went on IG Live last night while they're on the plane.
Oh yeah,
he's like, hey, he's like, Tuck, what are we doing for the flight? He goes, well, what do you want to know? He goes, I heard Lamar's leading us in knee highs. He's like, Ravens flock, let's fly. Everyone is cooking this man, and it just proves that kickers aren't people. There's only Justin Tucker, and the rest of them don't matter.
Niners Nation, let's mine.
All right, this is it. We got to go. Thank you guys for tuning in. This episode was definitely off the rails. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for when we go live. Shout out to Warriors World for sending Andrew the new merch. Though I was about ready to hit that. Lit.
Yes, thank you, Sheed. Warriors World, we love it. Sorry, it was such a scuffed episode. I meant to get to it earlier, and everything blew up. I'll wear it again on Monday and shout it out again, just so you get it. Hopefully my computer doesn't blow up. But yeah, I guess that's the podcast. This is the Sprint Ride Option podcast. I was very excited to see a Vikings fan in here. That's a new one. Like,
that's cool.
I think we should make a map of like the teams of other fan bases we get.
Real quick. Don Burr, Detroit.
Yeah, we got a lot of Rams guys.
Pro, LA. Mm-hmm. We have a Jets fan that comes in here and trolls. Jets gang. I've seen him. That's 3. Okay. We've got our Minnesota guy now. We had that nut job Bears fan that was bothering us for all of week 1. That's 5.
Okay, we're chipping away. Maybe I like this.
I think that's it, really. I really do think that's it at this point. If you guys can remember anybody else, but yeah, we get it from a lot of opposing fan bases, actually.
And we love each and every one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The thing that these people will never understand, that when you come to troll on YouTube and when you start sending in comments, you know what you do? You help the algorithm. You're just pushing the video up to more eyes. So joke's on you, young man or young child, or
what was my tweet?
Or even women.
What was my tweet from a few weeks ago? If NFL's Twitter page correctly calls him Nick Bosa, you get 100 Niner fans being like, yeah, Nick Bosa's good. But you call him Joey Bosa, you get 10,000 Niner fans yelling, that's not Joey Bosa, it's Nick Bosa. But all NFL sees is the retweet count, which is 10,000. It doesn't change whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
We're officially sideways.
This is it.
This episode's never going to exist again. This is it. The only place you'll get to see this episode is on YouTube. So I apologize for the audio listeners. You're never going to hear this episode again.
Hopefully the 49ers do not come out on offense as disjointed as this episode. Andrew Pasquini, as always.
Well, no, Jason Aponte, as always, first of all.
Oh, right. Sorry. Let's go Niners.
Sup, comrade Riskers. Sup.
Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners.